This is home. Star City News starts right now.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm Scott Beadle. Airbnb bookings are made for a whole host of reasons, but when it comes to throwing big parties, Lafayette police say enough is enough. Star City's Ryan Gage looks at how and why the department is cracking down.
Behind me is one of the short-term rental properties Lafayette police look to crack down on.
This past Friday, Lafayette police put out a public safety advisory about increase in illegal activity at short-term rental properties, often known as Airbnbs. LPD says these properties are being used to host large parties, some of them ending up in serious criminal activity such as drug use and shootings. Police cited 2 incidents that happened at different Airbnbs, one at the 1900 block of Crowfoot Drive, which ended with a man being shot, and another at 1403 Catula Lane, where several juveniles were seen with firearms outside the property, and later some were arrested. Mayor Tony Rosworski said in a statement, "We've seen too many short-term rentals used in ways that put people in danger." The city points out that some of these rentals violate Lafayette's zoning and permitting regulations, since they are not allowed in single-family residential zones unless granted a permit before July 2024. The mayor also added some of these properties shouldn't be operating at all, and others may not even realize they're breaking the rules. Either way, we're going to start holding people accountable. Public safety has to come first. The city is launching a coordinated enforcement effort targeting these illegal and non-compliant short-term rentals, including potential enforcement actions against those who rent the properties to host dangerous parties. The city is advising residents to report suspected illegal activity and disruptive short-term rentals to the city's Code Enforcement Office or the Lafayette Police Department. Ryan Gage, Star City News, Lafayette.
We've got a warm week ahead of us. Let's get a first look at the forecast from senior meteorologist Alyssa Triplett.
Hey Scott, and we're definitely going to get a tap of more of the summer-like temperatures. Now we're even seeing here into our Tuesday with the forecasted high of 86 degrees. We are going to watch feel-like temperatures even near the 90s. Now there is a little pullback in the temperatures towards Thursday with the frontal system passage, but we still stay into the 80s. But what we will see following that frontal passage is a soar in the temperatures towards the 90s. But we'll dive into what will still be another active week in a few minutes.
Thousands of Hoosiers turned out in Lafayette for last weekend's No Kings protest. Saturday's march against President Trump and his administration was one of the biggest in city history. In addition to people showing up with signs, there was music, information booths, speakers, and food trucks on site. Starting tonight, crews will be closing down lanes on I-65 between Swisher Road and County Road 600 North. The closures will give crews the ability to pave lanes to improve riding conditions. Those nightly closures are expected to last into early July. 1 person is dead and 11 others are hurt after a shooting in Elkhart early Sunday morning. Officers were called to the scene just after 1 a.m. They quickly learned a dozen people had been shot and believe multiple people fired shots during the incident. One of the victims died, while others were treated for their injuries and released from the hospital. The Elkhart County Homicide Unit is handling the investigation. The G7 kicked off in Canada today, with wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, and a trade war atop the agenda for world leaders. Rebecca Castor is at the White House with more.
President Trump is talking trade and the Middle East as the G7 summit kicks off in Canada.
Security is tight in the small town of Kananaskis, Alberta, where leaders from some of the world's biggest economies are gathering. This is President Trump's first international summit since taking office for the second time, and it's a major test of his America First policies on the world stage. Tariff tensions are expected to be the main focus of his first meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney.
I have a tariff concept. Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it.
But some G7 leaders are already pushing back on Trump's trade policy.
We see tariffs as acts of economic self-harm by the country imposing the tariffs.
Tariffs and the war in Ukraine were expected to be the big topics this week. They'll still be discussed in depth, but the fighting between Iran and Israel is now a major focus, with most European leaders pushing hard for a ceasefire as soon as possible.
There must be de-escalation of this conflict in the interests of the region and of course the world.
A diplomatic solution remains the best way in the long run to address concerns about Iran's nuclear program.
But Israeli officials say they'll keep attacking until the nuclear threat is removed from Iran. And so far, they have President Trump's support.
And with two major wars and a tariff fight on their hands, some world leaders have said their goal for this summit is to simply minimize friction with the U.S.
As we move into the summer season, bugs are making themselves known and getting into homes. Star City's Madison Deal learned how you can best prepare for pests.
We are about to be in the peak of summertime insects, and how is Lafayette preparing for this time of the year?
At one point when it was really bad, I got like fly tape. You usually get a couple stragglers in your kitchen or something.
Kyle said while he hasn't seen an influx yet, usually flies, bees, and mosquitoes have bothered him in the past.
It's a humid, kind of rainy period like we're in now. They're usually worse, but I, for whatever reason, I don't even think I've been bitten yet this year, so hoping to maintain the good luck.
I talked with a pest specialist to chat with him about what are the most common bugs during the summertime and how to avoid them. Jeremy Smith said wasps and mosquitoes are usually the biggest issues.
It's been an excessively longer, cooler, wetter spring. Whenever there's heavier wetness for the mosquitoes, there's a lot of breeding opportunities. So you want to keep an eye out on your planters, anywhere on your property where water is being retained.
Yellow jackets or wasps can be trickier to deal with than mosquitoes.
Dealing with them is very, very tricky because they are very aggressive. They will attack very easily and they will defend their nest excessively hard. So I always recommend dealing with a professional when you're dealing with yellow jackets.
Smith said the best thing you can do to stop bugs from entering your house is to get a humidifier.
The more moisture you can take out of the environment inside of your structures in your house, the less insect activity is going to be drawn to be on the inside.
As we step into the hot and humid days of summer, Lafayette is getting ready to take care of the bugs that invade our homes. Madison Deal, Star City News, Lafayette.
The business landscape is changing a bit across Greater Lafayette. West Lafayette is losing its Buffalo Wild Wings at 360 Brown Street, while in Lafayette, a new Dutch Brothers is preparing to open tomorrow off of Shenandoah Drive. We have your full forecast for the week ahead coming up next. Plus,
Elf Labs is looking to shake up the gaming industry with a wild new way to combine virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and your mobile phone. I'm Eamon Dignam, and I spoke to the CEO about how he's upgrading the mobile experience.
And don't forget, you can read and watch our news and weather anytime at our website, starcitytv.com.
The active weather pattern has been relentless through our region, noting that it's given us some fluctuations in the temperatures, times of heavy rainfall, drier days. And what we will see here as we were stepping into our Monday is that we had some times of some passing cloud cover, some sunshine around, and some of those seasonable temperatures as we were watching highs climb into the 80s. A little bit of some instability is firing up some isolated chances for a stray shower and some rumble, so do stay weather aware. We will watch the environment bring our low temperatures into those upper 60s to start off our Tuesday. Now, upper 60s, pretty mild start to the day, and that is going to lead into what will be a warm and humid Tuesday. And we are going to stay with some of this conversation of warm and humid conditions, especially into Thursday, where we will move from our Tuesday talking about some isolated evening rumbles to some likely thunderstorms on Wednesday. Now, those thunderstorms on Wednesday will come along a cold front that will make its passage into our Thursday. Then following that stronger cold front passage, we will see a stronger upper air weather pattern settle us into a very summer-like system where we are going to get a drier forecast with some hot temperatures that is going to take hold this weekend. Now for our Tuesday, we are looking at a morning low 67 and afternoon high of 86. So above those averages there, where we will note that we're even going to feel warmer than those temperatures, as we will see that we have some of those feel like temperatures there into the afternoon and evening, at least anywhere from 2 to 5 degrees warmer than those actual temperatures. So it's that time of the year where we need to start to not only talk about summer conditions to the active weather, but talk about the summer conditions where heat and humidity can become a concern. Now, sunshine will be around, but there is going to be a small chance to talk about a very isolated rumble in the afternoon hours after some morning showers move out. There's a breakup in the weather pattern, but overall, not a lot of organization. We see a little bit of some storms there dropping in from the south there Tuesday night, but not a lot of organization and advancement. Where we do see some more organization here is Wednesday off to our west across Iowa and Illinois. And that is along a warm front that is going to be lifting its way in. Now, that warm front, though, is going to merge with the stationary front that we can just see there north of the banner. And then a cold front is going to sweep through by end of day Wednesday. Now, with all of that environment pulling a very warm and humid environment overhead, that is what's going to bring us the likely chance for some showers and thunderstorms, and even is going to bring the threat for some severe weather already. That Wednesday outlook does have a slight risk, so a level 2 out of 5. We will be monitoring the concerns there that will come with storms likely on Wednesday. We also will get some heavier rainfall with that rich environment, noting even over a half an inch to an inch of accumulation is possible. So for our Tuesday, though, again, it is going to be more of an isolated storm threat by end of day underneath a warm and humid setup. We'll get the likely storms on Wednesday, and then we are going to be keeping an eye on that setup of those hot and humid conditions by this weekend.
The Senate held its first hearing exploring what Republicans believe was a cognitive decline by President Biden when he was in office. Chad Pergram takes a look.
Republicans doubt President Biden was fit to serve as commander-in-chief.
Luckily, we have a lot of former employees like Jean-Pierre who are coming out with books and interviews that are kind of painting a picture that Joe Biden really didn't know what was going on in his White House.
Congressman Ronnie Jackson ran the White House medical unit under 3 presidents. He's long questioned Mr. Biden's fitness.
Like I've been saying this for, since he was candidate Joe Biden, that he's not physically or cognitively fit to be our president. And
Jackson accused former White House doctor Kevin O'Connor of a, quote, cover-up. The Senate Judiciary Committee holds the first hearing into the former president's fitness Wednesday. Senators asking who ran the country if the president was in fact incapacitated. When asked about President Biden, some Democrats want to move on.
I think that these are the political stunts that Americans are fed up with.
James Comer's panel interviews a number of former Biden officials behind closed doors starting later this month. The committee subpoenaed O'Connor for June 27th. Democrats scoff at the GOP.
How's the impeachment going for Comer? Is he going to call for impeachment? Is that still going on with him?
Presidential health questions are not new. Reporters were complicit in hiding FDR's paralysis from polio. Historians say First Lady Edith Wilson overstepped constitutional boundaries after Woodrow Wilson suffered a stroke. Those are the types of issues senators will probe at the hearing. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
A tech startup is creating a new type of phone that combines virtual reality and artificial intelligence to bring you an immersive world full of lovable characters you may already know, like Snow White and Pinocchio. Iman Dignam shows us how it works.
David Phillips is the CEO of Elf Labs, and his dream is taking characters his company owns the rights to, like Cinderella and Peter Pan, and bringing them directly to a phone that Elf builds and services. So you can play with the characters using augmented and virtual reality technology, instead of an app or a console or even AT&T. The Elf Labs phone would connect you to their world and their characters. And Phillips says it all started with his dad.
He came across the original Junior Elf children's book portfolio. This is a portfolio of books that published the Cinderella stories, Snow White, and all those wonderful tales long before Disney ever did anything with them.
He says it's not only going to be in your phones, but also your PC and individual toys as well. While he didn't comment on getting more current intellectual properties involved, he did say the characters that he does have rights to are ready to play in more modern settings.
So we have a few projects that are both being worked on and in the pipeline that completely take him to a new world.
As for safety, he says he has a top team working to keep it all family friendly.
It's best-in-class security measures, safeguards. There are third parties out there. That's constantly what we do.
The company says the technology could eventually be used to drive real-world holograms so the characters would be able to move into real-world spaces and respond in real time. To hear this full interview, check out the Fox on Games podcast every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
The future of emergency response may lie with drones. Coming up next, we're taking a look at how they're being used in a crisis. While people rarely die from hail, the pellets of ice can dramatically range in size and trigger billions of dollars in damage annually. In an effort to bolster forecasts and protection, researchers are taking us on the road as they chase down hailstorms. Deborah Valentine brings us along.
While most of us are taught to take shelter during extreme weather events, dozens of researchers across the Great Plains region are doing the opposite, all in the name of science.
We're about a mile from the core now, maybe a mile and a half. Your natural survival instincts tell you that you need to take shelter and you need to hide from it, but you just know that it's about to be some good research and you are changing the world like one storm at a time.
Driving head-on into hailstorms, members of Project Ice Chip say these frozen chunks cause about $10 billion in damage every year across the country. Yet we know little about them.
We have really tough time forecasting hail size.
Project Ice Chip received funding from the National Science Foundation. Teams use special tools and high-tech radar to capture hail samples, measure ice strength, and more.
Plugs out. This is on. Yep, those are on.
While the research won't be able to stop hail from happening, teams hope to collect data to help impacted regions make better decisions about protecting property and lives.
We want to know that storm over there is going to produce baseballs, and that storm over there is only going to produce golf balls. And if we can confine and constrain those forecasts, at the end of the day, the end users, the people receiving that information, are going to be better served.
These endeavors follow a study published last year in the journal Nature, which says the warming effects of human-caused climate change will only cause larger hailstones to become more common. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
Imagine a world where drones arrive in an emergency before an ambulance or police get there. It's happening in some communities across the country, giving first responders crucial eyes in the sky to assess emergencies. Here's Rebecca Castor.
When a fertility clinic was bombed in Palm Springs last month, the police department launched a drone to get eyes on the scene within minutes.
Having eyes on at least provides you that awareness, like there's definitely been an explosion here. There's definitely significant damage.
It's part of Palm Springs PD's drone responder program. Law enforcement using drones isn't new, but using radar developed by Matrix Space allows Palm Springs to cover more territory, 37 square miles, without the need for human spotters.
The drone comes out and goes to the call for service that we need it to, and then the drone comes back, lands, recharges, and is available to go right back out in the field on the next call.
We are the first in the world to offer this technology that creates what I like to call a scalable radar sensor. It is a system that goes across the city.
With California gearing up to host the Olympics in 2028, these drones will play a major role.
The drones can spot threats with the right AI technology that we would never be able to see. That might be the one threat that was going to injure or kill hundreds of thousands of people.
But when dozens of drones were spotted flying over New Jersey last year, the public wasn't having it.
Had New Jersey had something like this, they could have seen where that was coming from and tracked it.
Turns out those New Jersey drones were legal, but Palm Springs PD says it's why transparency is key to having community support for their drone responder program.
They really need to understand what the drones are being used for, that we're not just cruising around the skies, peeking on you, your birthday suit, that we are being responsible.
And bringing high-flying help to emergencies. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
We'll be back with more in a moment. Finally today, if Father's Day were celebrated in the animal kingdom, a Galapagos tortoise in a zoo in Florida would really have a reason to whoop it up. Goliath, who lives at Zoo Miami, recently became a father for the first time shortly before turning 135. The tortoise is the zoo's oldest resident, and Father's Day happened to fall on Goliath's birthday. Zoo officials say one egg out of a clutch of 8 laid in late January successfully hatched on June 4th. There's even more reason to celebrate. Besides being Goliath's first offspring, it's also the first time one of the endangered reptiles has hatched at Zoo Miami. And that does it for us today. I'm Trill Gates. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching Star City News. Follow us on Facebook and listen to us on the radio.